That's what happens when you get old. Okay, we're live. We're up. We're live.
Yay!
Okay, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to Nerd Culture Clash, show where we talk about some of the interesting things going on in this really, really weird, nerdy world of ours these days. But usually you go off on some random tangent because
That's what we do.
we're old and we do that. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Joining me as always is my co-host for Nerd Culture Class, Tom the Immortal Cummings.
That's me.
And today, we're going to talk about what happened to episode 26. Jeez. Okay. All right. So, we all know how touchy YouTube can be. And so I take great pains when I do videos where I'm using trailers and stuff like that to make sure that I'm
within acceptable parameters.
I'm within acceptable parameters, yes. So so for our Halloween episode, I was making sure that I edited everything and took all the audio out so that it wouldn't be copyright struck. They did it anyway. Now, I fully expected it to be demonetized. Fully expected that. What I didn't expect was one group of people shut it down completely. Like,
yoink,
gone. And I went and I looked to see why, and it was complete, utter, and total BS. So I'm sharing my screen, Tom. If you click on me, you can see what I'm looking at. All right, now, this is what I'm reading here. Okay, this is what was blocked. It was that Masters of Horror. It was the Behind the Mask segment, but it was only a 2.5 minute part of it. Okay, which means they didn't copyright strike the whole thing. It was just a piece of it, and that makes no sense whatsoever. Because it's like, if you're going to copyright strike the trailer, why wouldn't you copyright strike the whole thing? The second thing is this. Okay. Read this with me. Video cannot be seen or monetized. Dispute expires in 23 days. Which means I filed this thing 7 days ago, right? Right?
Yep.
Okay. 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Your video will remain blocked for the first 48 hours following your dispute, or until the claimant releases the claim, whichever one comes first. Now, when you file a dispute, you're supposed to let you know if they block your dispute. You know what I mean? So, the way I'm reading this is 48 hours after I did this thing should have unlocked. Because I haven't gotten anything from them about the
claimant Wyatt,
the claimant saying that they are refuting my dispute. It's been 7 days. This thing should have been unlocked already.
Well, and it's whichever one comes first. So
right, whichever one comes first. So, since I haven't gotten any kind of indication that notification that they have put the block back up, that they have they have refuted my dispute, this thing should have been unlocked 5 days ago.
Yeah, at least from what it looks like there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the whole thing, and so the thing is like it's right here. There's other groups here. They said cannot be monetized, ad revenue paid to copyright owner. That's perfectly fine. I totally expected that. This makes no sense. It's so stupid, and I'm so pissed off because I'm like, this completely killed any momentum that this. And not that we have much anyway, because our channel is really small. But this kills any kind of momentum possible, and this is the kind of thing that they're doing to people, to little content creators. This is ridiculous. I'm so pissed off at this. I mean, I'm a lot better now than I was, but man, when that first happened, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
And frankly, the dumbest thing about it because we were giving him good reviews. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies right there.
Yeah,
And
and it's a
it
10-year-old movie.
yeah,
On
so why block it? I mean, it's not like we showed it in its entirety and then at the end
no,
we're like, "Oh, that's good."
and,
No, it
and
was
like I said, I cut the first part of it off, the front part of it off. Like I edited it so that like you have to edit it, and plus we put things over top of it. It's it's edited,
mhm.
you know, and it's just a little. And it's not even the whole thing. It's just a little chunk.
Yep.
What this is one of those. It's one of those automatic things. But the thing is, it's I'm not that mad at Stars for doing this. I'm mad at YouTube for not releasing the damn thing after 48 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, where
With
is
it
it?
or at least with an explanation as to what's going on. Why aren't you doing this?
Because I haven't got any kind of notification that they refuted my dispute. So I guarantee you, what's going to happen is this thing's going to go all the way to the 23 days, and then it's going to unlock a month later.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Just in time for Thanksgiving. So, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so this is bullshit. Anyway, anyway, we're gonna talk about some better stuff. Let me go to see here. My brain just took a fart, and I can't remember what I was gonna do now. Um, uh, okay.
Oh, just real quick, I see you got some WWE stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you and Chris know this, but I definitely got to tell Chris on Thursday that the Hero Clicks now has WWE characters, and like the the play area is a ring, like an actual physical
Yeah,
ring that you play in. So thought you guys might like that.
that's kind of cool. But okay, so some interesting things to report here. Andy Serkis and talks to join the Batman as Alfred Pennyworth.
Hmm.
At first, I saw this and I went, "Really?" I'm like, Andy Serkis? He doesn't really play characters like that. But then I remember that he's actually a really, really good freaking actor.
Well,
So
he was kind of an assistant in the Prestige. He was
yeah,
assistant to Tesla, and he did a good job with that. I mean, so why not?
yeah. And since and it kind of does make sense a little bit because, like they say here, he is younger than the Alfred actors that have come before.
Yeah.
Because this version of Batman is supposed to be really young,
Okay.
which is one of the things I'm kind of worried
Yeah.
about. Yeah, because he's only supposed to be like in his mid to late 20s or something like that.
Oh, very
So
early Batman.
so this is like year one Batman. So Alfred being younger actually makes sense. And like I said, Anthony Serkis is a really good actor.
Yeah.
So this could be cool. You know, I'm not crapping on this. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by Joker.
Mhm.
Joker was a much better movie than I thought it was going to be. Um, as I said before, I would argue it's not a great comic book movie, but then it wasn't made to be a comic book movie.
Right.
So, yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. This, you know, him. I'm interested. I'm interested in this now. Most of the stuff that I've heard coming forward from this movie, I've been a little about, especially Robert Pattinson as Batman, because I'm like, yeah, someone needs to feed that dude all the sandwiches right now, and he needs to get into the gym last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, I thought that was interesting, and there was something else I saw here. Yeah, it is the 5th of November, so V for Vendetta.
Hmm.
Remember the 5th of November. But This was interesting because you did a review for this. Scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh yeah, it's
Uh,
still in theaters.
yeah,
I am amazed at that. I mean, that was
but
God.
apparently
When was that released?
that was I think it was like a
Like
month.
September? No, that
Yeah, it
was
was
a
like,
while ago.
yeah, it was like a month and a half ago.
So
Um, yeah. So, but Guillermo del Toro says that his vision for scary stories was actually very different.
really?
Um, yeah, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a surprisingly spooky film that catered to both younger audiences and those who grew up with the school library safe material. I don't know if I would say it was necessarily school library safe because it was creepy. I remember reading
Hmm.
those. While the film, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of like in between like Goosebumps, which is absolutely like library school library safe,
Mhm.
and real horror. It was kind of in that middle area.
So it's the young teen
It's yeah,
library
it's
state.
teenager it's high school library.
Yeah.
Um, while the film was considered a success critically with a solid box office run, filmmaker and Scary Stories producer Guillermo del Toro admits that his initial vision may have differed from the end result. Uh, According to del Toro, I had discussed with director Andre about the style of the film. He said, "I want the realistic to be real, so that the extraordinary can pop more." That's exactly the opposite of what I would have done, but I knew the moment he said it, he was right. So
Mhm.
apparently he wanted to go with
Overall creepier,
yeah, a more, because if you look at
more
Del Toro's,
surreal. Yeah.
yeah, because you look at Del Toro's movies, all of his movies are very atmospheric,
Hmm.
and especially his early work, extremely so. Like Devil's Backbone, like the way it's shot, and it's just like the scenery is part of the movie, is like a character in the movie. According to this, while there's no doubt that Del Toro is known for his distinct visions and bringing them to the big screen, Andre Overdahl essentially brought the film to life in the strongest way possible. That's debatable. I mean, obviously it worked for audiences
Yeah.
because it did well. The real life atmosphere and the occasional dispensing of in your face horror translated especially well for those newer to horror and those with appreciation for the genre as well. I can see this going either way and possibly being successful. Now I think what they're trying to say here is that the way he did it made it more digestible for people who maybe aren't necessarily horror fans.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're getting at here. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see what Del Toro was thinking about doing for it. Uh, Scary stories to tell in the dark. Scary stories to tell in the dark has already proven itself to audiences as a legitimate horror contender that's accessible to all ages and arguably finds a better balance than the recent adaptation of It, which somehow felt younger, younger skewing with a strong R rating. Eh, Maybe the second
Mm.
half. The first half, I think, was I don't know about if I'll call it younger skewing. I mean, it's pretty freaking intense, man.
Yeah, but still, yeah, I can definitely see late. Yeah, the target of that being more late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
But
But
man,
no, this is
that's
yeah, it's kind of interesting. What were you gonna say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no. I was just going to say that. Yeah, because what they're talking about is the part two, right? Not the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
I think they're just calling. I think they're talking about the whole thing as a whole.
I can definitely say part two was definitely more that way. I really wouldn't uh, give that to part one. Part one was well, that's just because it's part one was all about the kids.
Hmm.
You know, it wasn't like the TV version where it was bouncing back and forth between uh, the adult story and the kid story.
Yeah.
No, this one was just part one was the kid story. Now it's what 27 years later, and we're doing the adult story.
Yeah. But
So
no, I mean, like I said, this kind of I saw this and I was actually like, oh, I kind of wonder what his version of it would have been because I'm a big Del Toro fan, so
His would have been all creepy all the time.
That's so, you know what? That's okay with me, man. That is okay with me.
Well, let's see if they keep it
Uh,
up.
okay. So this anytime I read an article from Rich Johnson, I automatically have to take it with a grain of salt. Because this guy is one of the biggest shills on the planet. So DC Comics, if you're into mainstream comics like I am, DC Comics basically announced that they have this company wide thing they're going to do called 5G, and it's got a lot of fans that's basically saying, "What the hell are you thinking? Marvel already tried this and it blew up in their face." They're basically pulling a Marvel legacy, and they're going to replace all their main characters with other characters. Yeah, that's exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, and actually, like what it says here is actually accurate. There are people calling this Axel Alonso 2.0. There's a reason for that. That okay, the Marvel legacy stuff literally blew up in their face, and people will still argue whether or not it was successful or not. Bottom line was, it literally it took their fans abandoned Marvel in droves over this, and as usual, people want to come out and say, "Oh, it's racism, sexism, homophobia, all the ists." But as we have argued on here before, it's not about that. It's about you're taking something that people love away. Okay, and then you're saying, "Here, like this thing that we just came up with, it's just as good." No, it doesn't work like that. Fandom doesn't work that way. And the reason why these characters have lasted as long as they have is because they've fostered this massive love of these characters and following these characters. And when you take these things away, you're literally asking for trouble. You know,
mhm.
it's literally like it's like taking away someone's favorite flavor of ice cream and saying, "Here, eat this instead. It's just as good." Well, I don't like that. I want I want the thing that I like,
Hmm.
and
Even
it's
even if the new one's good, the other one is the one that I like.
right. It's like do the new thing over here by itself, but let me have the thing that I like. And I cannot understand why DC is doing this, because like I said, with Marvel, it fell apart. It literally just bombed to death.
Well, the thing is, and I really don't know why I mean, I know why they do it, but they do this thing in comics so many times that you're like, if you really want to switch it up, you can just do that. And that is the whole either what if or alternate timeline scenario. If you're doing a what if, or if you're doing an alternate timeline, do whatever you want with it. But if you're messing with the continuity that's already established, just bring in a new character if you want
Yeah,
diversity.
yeah,
I mean, promote if you want a black superhero, promote the black superhero. Get some good writers and artists on it, and do it right.
yeah, and that's the thing right there. That's the thing that I always bring up, and they get pissed at me when I do this. I say, if you truly want this character to succeed, if you truly believe in these characters, get a get a crack team of creators on them and commit to building these characters up. This thing where you trying to shoehorn them in to the role of another character because you know that character has a powerful following, trying to that to me says you don't really believe in this character. You don't
And
really
what
believe you don't really believe that it can be successful.
well, and at at that point they don't believe in either one,
Right.
because you're willing just to uh,
To
you're
sacrifice the
willing,
one for the other.
right, and then you're not, and then when they do that, then they don't back up the new version of it, and yeah, just
I think the reason why they do that though is that they think on a certain and this is actually someone actually I can't remember who it was, but there was a creator. Brett Booth is when he brought this up. He brought this up saying that the Marvel and DC in particular, they take for granted that there's a certain number of people that will buy their
just
comics
buy
no
it,
matter what.
right?
But here's the thing. That's a mistake because as time has gone on and they've continued to do this and their audience continues to whittle away because of it, those people are no longer guaranteed. So you need to market to those people just as much as you market to the new people because you're going to lose people just like that with this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like the situation, it started back with Spider-Man when they did the whole Superior Spider-Man thing. Spider-Man never recovered after that. That book, that's something that they don't like talking about. A lot of people don't like talking about. After Dan Slott did what he did and basically, like people like me believe, committed character assassination to the character of Peter Parker, no pun intended. When they then flipped it back and said, okay, see, here he is, he's back now. Not everybody came back.
Yeah, because
They
if you're going to do that once, you're going to do it again.
Well, it's not only that, but they lost a big chunk of fans. A
No,
big
but that's
chunk of
what I
fans.
mean. I mean, if you know, if I'm invested in Spider-Man and I've been reading them since the '70s, and you really do that, you change the character just.
Yeah.
And once again, if you're doing a what if or alternate timeline, that gives you a lot more leeway with it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, yeah, we're just going to take your character and do this with them. Oh, wait, never mind. He's back.
You see,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're not going to suck me into that again.
yeah, and Marvel
I'm
Marvel
out.
did it. Marvel did it right the first time when they did it with the Ultimate Universe. If you want to create an alternate timeline and play with it, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and do that. Same thing with DC. DC did Earth 2. That worked fine, and actually some of the stuff that came out of those runs was good. There was some good work came out of that. So it's when you do something like this, you are just you're literally breaking the thing that everybody loves. So this argument here that DC's Black Label is a backup for this, I disagree with this because not the Black Label books are in and of themselves they're basically doing the exact opposite. The Black Label books are kind of like these what if books,
Uh-huh.
and that's where they should be doing stuff like this. That's where they should be doing 5G in a what if kind of scenario. Leave the regular continuity alone. But so this argument that Black Label is a backup for 5G, that's a bad plan. In my opinion, that's a very very bad plan. So, yeah, I'm just and the minute they announced this, the minute they announced it, the vast majority of real comic book fans were like, nope, nope, we're not. We already went through this with Marvel. We're not going to go through it with you guys. And I can't believe that Dan DiDio thinks this is a good idea. I can't believe that he thinks this is a good idea. And the sad thing is that some of the characters that they're probably going to come up with are probably characters with good potential.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's sad because that means that they're just gonna get crapped on because people are gonna be so angry at them for what they're doing. But anyway, enough of that crap. All right, on to another friggin' complete mess. All right, so you guys know I'm a wrestling fan. I go on the Wrestling Council on Thursdays to talk this up, and got a couple of fans. My friends are big wrestling fans. WWE. Oh boy. So as of late, WWE has found itself kind of in a position that it hasn't been in a long time, where it's got some serious competition. On top of that, they, being that they are the WWE and they are the biggest friggin' wrestling company in the entire world, and they have more money than God, they made a couple of big historic moves, some of which were very controversial. The most controversial one being their partnership with Saudi Arabia. Now, if you all know, Saudi Arabia is kind of in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, they kind of endorsed a little bit of genocide,
A little bit of murder,
a
a
little bit
little
of
bit of
murder. Yeah, it's
some
and
dismemberment was in there somewhere. I don't know. It's all crazy.
yeah. So when WWE announced this partnership with them, a lot of people were not happy about it.
Hmm.
So, but then again, but hey, it's WWE and it's money. And I have heard a probably the best thought out response to this, say, in favor, in defense of WWE, saying if you want to change people, the best way to do it's from inside. So, I mean, I guess I could see that to an extent, but at the same time, it's like you're dealing with the Saudi Arabian royal family, and they don't give a shit. And in fact, this is like they're literally dealing with they're dealing with the crown prince himself. So, but anyway, this is the second year that they've done this the crown jewel event, and this year it met with some serious what the hell. So the event went off. So they did the event, but apparently there is some monetary issues. Depending on who you ask, the the Saudi Arabian they didn't pay for everything like they were supposed to.
What?
So apparently they still owed Vince McMahon money, and they were doing that whole thing was, oh no, the check is in the mail. They were doing that kind of thing. So at one point, according to some reports, because they had not gotten their just due, Vince turned the feed off on local television because the event was being broadcast to local television in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. He cut the feed. Whether or not this is true, it depends on who you ask, but apparently this didn't sit well. Obviously, this isn't going to sit well.
Oh yeah.
So after the event, which there was, like, the event did have a pretty historic situation. It had the first women's match in Saudi Arabia ever.
Hmm.
So hey, tip of the hat to that. That's cool. There was a little bit of controversy to that because apparently somebody was throwing some stuff at the two women who were involved, and but that largely went off without a hitch, and you saw a whole lot of people were really into it. So it's like, all right, cool, good on you for that. Anyway, after the event, there are two reports coming out of this. Um, the first one is that hang on a second. Someone's in here. The first report is that as Vince McMahon, who came in on a private plane, a bunch of the wrestlers got on their plane to go home, and their plane was stopped, and basically they were forced to they got basically stranded in Riyadh.
Hmm.
And the excuse was that it's mechanic. There's mechanical issues with the plane. Why didn't they just put them on another plane? But they literally held them there for a couple of days. Um, Now, one of the reports coming out is that some people are saying that, like I said, it was mechanical difficulties. The plane, that's why the plane was held up. But like me myself and everybody else were like, why didn't you just put them on another plane? Another
Yeah.
report is coming in though is that because of what Vince did, the Saudi crown prince said, "You ain't going anywhere," and it created this massive upheaval. And the talent, obviously, and these people, these wrestlers who were over there, obviously, they were not happy because
Yeah.
one, it's a scary thing. You're like you're in a foreign
Yes.
you're in a foreign country. They're not letting you go home. And it's like, yeah, this is a place where sometimes people die
Yep.
just because they look different. It's
Well,
like,
well, just because that was enough.
yeah, it's like, what the heck, man? Like, and a lot of them were like some of them were like legitimately scared. They were tweeting
Oh,
out
hell
like,
yeah.
and a couple of them after they got back, they were like, we're never going back again. We are never, ever, ever going back. We refuse to go back. And some of them are actually looking. There's a report that some of them are actually looking into legal possibilities of using this as a way to get out of their contracts with
Okay.
WWE because they put them in an unsafe work environment. And WWE was already kind of they were already kind of on a tight
They
leash
took some
because of
hits.
this. Yeah, because of this partnership. Now their own people, their own workers are like, yeah, this is BS. We're never going back, and some of us want to leave. So after that, a bunch of like, oh no, that's not what happened. This is what happened, and then this and 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 this. Then we get this. WWE announces expanded partnership with Saudi Arabia. In the aftermath of their delays getting out of the country following WWE has announced that they've expanded their partnership with Saudi Arabia. Tell me money doesn't talk. The news was announced via a press release that was issued this afternoon following the historic Crown Jewel event in Riyadh. WWE and New York Stock Exchange WWE and the Saudi General Entertainment Authority, the GEA, have expanded their live event partnership through 2027 to include a second annual large-scale event. So now they're going to have two a year. WWE and
With
GEA also continue to work towards the completion of a media agreement in the MENA region. This long-term partnership demonstrates WWE and GEA's commitment to bringing sports entertainment to the region and support Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Oh boy.
well, let's see how many people don't show up. Like, no, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. I've got a wife and
Okay.
kids. I don't care how much you're paying me.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Like the one guy's wife literally tweeted out, and she's like, "Yeah, this ain't cool." But yeah, and actually, there's a link on this page to Dave Meltzer and talking about what happened in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's pretty sobering. But I like this. When asked by Forbes about the issues with Crown Jewel airing live on television in Saudi Arabia, WWE denied that the issues had anything to do with a lack of payment. Okay, they denied that it had anything to do with the lack of payment, but multiple reports are coming in that immediately following this, WWE got like a $60 million check.
Hmm.
Basically, all the money that they were owed and a bunch of other stuff. Now, there are reports disputing this back and forth. Who really knows? But
Yeah.
it's obvious that something happened, and it's not what they're saying it was. WWE tells me that the feed issues were entirely unrelated to any issues with payment. Yeah, I don't buy that either. And they reinforced that mechanical issues were the cause of the flight delay. And Atlas Air, the charter company, issued an apology in that regard as well. Okay, again, put them on another plane.
Another plane.
Vince McMahon is a freaking billionaire. You cannot tell me that this guy cannot get a plane chartered and in the air in like 30 minutes. He's a
Well,
freaking billionaire.
if he wants to spend the money, he can do that. He certainly has it.
Now, and a lot of the wrestlers were really upset at him too because basically he took off and they got stuck.
Hmm.
Now, according to reports, he did leave prior to this, so it's possible that he got out before this thing was issued, and it's possible that he didn't know about it until he landed back at home because that's a long friggin' flight.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, the minute he found out about it, it should have been like, get him on another plane. I don't care how much it costs. Get him home.
Well, with his rep and how he
Yeah,
treats his workers, yeah, I don't see him doing that.
yeah, I don't either. So yeah, this is yet another thing, and then there's the whole thing with the deal that they made with the deal they made with Fox, and that they did not deliver on that deal, and they're in trouble with that. So yeah, this is just yet another situation. But this is genuinely scary, man. Considering what's going on over there right now, I'd be like, man, like, dude, they're not letting us go home. That's messed up. But yeah,
Yeah, that's one of those things you're like, okay, can somebody like Uber me to the border somewhere?
yeah, it's like,
I
can we
just
can we can we at least get into like England or something? But
just trying to think what country borders that you would want to go to.
yeah, like Italy, something.
No, I mean like a physical border because you're not flying out. I mean you
Oh,
gotta cross. So like, yeah,
maybe Israel
no,
or
it doesn't border, but
yeah, but it's close. I mean, I don't know, man. It's not a whole lot of friendly territory.
Egypt might not be bad.
Yeah, but yeah. So I found that interesting. But okay, this thing right here. Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic audience score for Terminator Dark Fate revealed. All right. I have not seen this movie yet. So I can't really comment on this, but
Didn't it
I
come
don't.
out last weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's one of
Okay.
those. It's one of those things where it's like I didn't. I wasn't going to go see this for a couple of very specific reasons. The main one is Terminators don't look scary. The whole reason why the Terminator was cool in the first movie is he's basically robot Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
He's scary. He's like, yeah, it's like, dude, this thing is not gonna stop. It's a monster. The second movie worked because they found a unique hook for it. But every one of them after that has just been crap.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, just the Terminator. If they wanted me to be interested in this movie, because both the good. I know she's not really a Terminator, but she's a cyborg thing. Both of them don't look scary at all. Not at all. There's nothing intimidating about them at all. So
I
I'm
mean,
like,
all the new Terminator is a liquid Terminator on top of a regular Terminator.
yeah, which we've already seen.
So
And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. I don't care. And if they wanted, like I said, and the other thing too is the reports that I'm hearing about this is that basically they basically pissed in the face of all the original Terminator fans and then bastardized the storyline so that they could shunt it off into this, so they could basically free themselves from the original storyline. And I'm like, well, then that's not the Terminator.
mhm.
You're basically just making another movie that's Terminator flavored.
It's time travel. We can do what we want.
Ah, oh, god dang it, man! I swear, they should just stopped it to like James Cameron originally wanted, and just like, okay, we're done. But and as I said, you could do other stories with the Terminator. You could do the actual war. You could
Yeah.
do that was the one movie that they did that I actually was like, okay, at least they're trying to do something new.
Hmm.
Was the Terminator with Christian Bale, where he was John Connor.
Hmm.
Um, But there's all kinds of stuff they could do. There were different stories they did in the comics where it was uh there was one called Terminator Second Objective where it was like John Connor was not the only thing that the Terminator was trying to ensure. And one of the things that it did, and I'm like, why hell the Terminator, why Skynet doesn't do this? It sent a whole team of them.
Hmm.
It sent like 5 of them. I was like, okay, that's a scary thing, man. It's like you got 5 of these. Like one of these things is damn near unstoppable. Now you got 5 of them. You're screwed. And I also said like you want to be intimidating. You want to make a Terminator that's terrifying. Cast the Mountain as the Terminator and have like 3 or 4 of them. It's like, oh my god.
Also, what I also think would also be a good Terminator movie is to do just like, well, you could do the war, which would be cool. Just do a war movie
Yeah.
with Terminators.
Yep.
You got your spunky band of humans, last, as far as they know, humans on Earth, just trying to survive against the Terminators. That could be good. Um, but another one would just kind of be like a day in the life of somebody that's living in that world.
That would be cool.
Maybe, a dad and his kid, or even if it's even just a couple of kids living like rats, avoiding Terminators. That could be a cool story because
Yeah.
then you get more into the, oh
The
shit.
world, yeah, that
Yeah,
world that they
if they
exist in.
find us, yeah, if they find us, we're dead.
Yeah. Or like there was I remember one time I can't remember who I was talking with, but we were talking about like if we were gonna do a Terminator movie, we would almost do a Terminator movie like that movie The Road,
Hmm.
where it's like this one guy you got one like 1 or 2 people that are trying to protect this one person who's super important, and they're stuck behind him and they got to try to get all the way back to safety.
Hmm.
And it's just them trying to, and then you can see this stark world that they live in. I think that would have been a cool idea. But anyway, all right, so I think that's enough news. There's all kinds of crap here, but I'm like, yeah, I've had my dose of negativity for the day, and none of this is surprising. So, but this week, there's 2 things I want to do. I'm going to do a review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Batman 2 crossover, which actually, I know how it sounds. It sounds stupid. It was actually really freaking good. It was cool.
No, that
Um,
seriously, I read either one of those, but that actually sounds like it could work.
Dude, I'm going to show you some of it here in a minute here. I was pleasantly surprised. I was really surprised because I'm not the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I'm a huge Batman fan, but I'm not the biggest TMNT fan. But
Mhm.
this actually worked in a really weird way.
All
I'm
right.
also doing a review for an indie comic. I'm not doing a review. I'm going to do like a quick look at it because I'm actually going to do a legitimate review for it because I want to give it its proper due. But I want to give everybody a look at this other book that I'm looking at. It's an independent book called The Rains of Ganymede.
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 Yes.
Okay, that's
Oh, and we do have a comment up from
we do.
Biden Touch.
Biden touch that would be good. Oh, the Terminator idea I had with the 2 people. See, I think if you go intimate like that, it works better that way because then the terror is real because it's like it's just them. They've got nothing else to rely on, and I think that's why it works so well in the first movie as well because
Hmm.
nobody believed them.
Yep. Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah. So Art Proper says, hey, when you get to talking about the Reigns of Ganymede, I'm going to mispronounce that every single time.
Ganymede.
Feel free to show as much as you want. This is C. Thompson. This is the guy. This is the guy that actually made it. I'm at work, but looking forward to listening to it. Yeah, I'm not going to do a full review or anything right here. I'm just going to touch on the things that I saw about it. I'll be honest, man. It looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. So, but yeah, I'm all about doing promotions like this, man. Our audience isn't very big, but we got what we got. Well, okay, real quick though, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here, and we are going to do Okay, where did it go?
What'd you lose?
Um, it didn't. Why is it not? Okay, there it is. What the heck? No. So that. What the freaking hell? There it is. I'm like, what the? Sorry, guys. Boomered for a second. All right. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. All right. Like I said, this does not sound like it should work.
No, I can see this working.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
can.
they're all for starters, they're all street level characters.
Hmm.
They're not really superhuman. The turtles are basically like they're like normal human strength and everything like that, and they all kind of do that working in the shadows thing. Obviously, turtles are a little more of a humorous thing, but uh, yeah, it's but here's the thing. Here's the thing that really caught me with this book: the artwork. Look at
Hmm.
this friggin' artwork. Okay, Freddie Williams is amazing. This picture right here, like, dude, this picture right here of Batman as a ninja. That tell me that doesn't work.
It does. I mean,
I mean, and he does the way he does his art is obviously he does like the big bulky guys, but the way he does his finishes is he does a like an ink wash, and then almost like a watercolor on top of that. So his color palette has this almost has like a softness to it, and it's really cool. And I've been a big fan of his work, and he's done a lot of other crossovers. He did the uh, Justice the was it Injustice from the video game Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. Again, doesn't sound like it would work. Totally does.
hmm.
He did Thundercats versus Masters of the Universe. He did all these crossover books, and they just work though. But and again, some of them, like Thundercats, Master of the Universe. That totally sounds like it would fit.
Yeah.
But
Some of the other ones.
yeah, Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. How the hell is that going to work, dude? It was actually really cool. It was really cool, and again, the artwork is gorgeous, man. I mean, just and he does, and again, he does have a very cartoony style, especially when he does like their faces. Like you look at this expression that's on Commissioner Gordon's face right here. Obviously it's very overdone, but just
Yeah.
look at the way he does the turtles. In all the turtles are basically they're Batman. They're his Robins, and they all of their outfits are indicative of one of the Robins that have come before.
Yeah.
So, because right here, you got Raphael and more like kind of like a Red Hood kind of thing, which
Yeah,
totally
with the
fits.
big
Because
R. Yeah.
yeah, because Red Hood is like he's very hardcore, he's very violent. Uh, Donatello is more like the Tim Drake with the staff and everything.
Hmm.
It's just the way he went about it was so freaking cool. Michelangelo's more like Damien, and then you've got Leonardo here, who's obviously modeled off of Nightwing. So you've got all these characters that across you got this mishmash going on, and the cool idea behind it is like the storyline for why this is happening is actually interesting because and for a second like there's this weird crystal thing in this story. When he touches it, he sees that these two worlds have been merged on top of each other, and it's not supposed to be that way. So this is the first issue. So he gets a glimpse of the way things are supposed to be. Because here you see the Joker in his weird ninja look, and then over here is the regular Joker.
Hmm.
So then we get this they're in the Batcave, but it's kind of like a combination of the Batman of the Teenage Mutant Ninja sewer thing, and then you have Splinter here, like dressed like Alfred. So
Hmm.
it's like I said, it doesn't seem like it should work, but it does. But this was one of the cool things for Turtle fans that got a throwback because you're doing this weird merging of worlds. look who shows up to try to explain to them what's going on. It's the original Ninja Turtle Raphael from the original Ninja Turtles
Hmm.
world. So, and he's drawn just like the way Eastman
Just
and
like
Larry.
the original
Yep,
style. Yeah.
yep. They drew and finished it just like the original style. So it's these cool little nods like that. I'm like, that's a really slick. That's really cool. But then you get a look at Krang here, and I don't know if you know. You don't know much about DC, but what's happened here is basically Krang has somehow leached into the power of the anti monitor, and he's using this power to merge these two worlds so that he becomes all powerful. So the
Hmm.
anti monitor, for anyone who knows, the anti monitor is like this massive, this uber villain from DC Universe, who back in the early in the 80s they did the storyline called Crisis of Infinite Earths, where they took all the multiverse of the DC universe because it was real confusing, and they collapsed it all into one universe. And the villain that was at the center of that was the Anti Monitor. So you've got this kind of blend here, and then you got over here, you've got the almost like the Brainiac type of thing going on here. They do
Hmm.
a really good job, and they actually worked with Eastman, Kevin Eastman, to do that scene right there with the original turtle. That's Eastman. So you've got these two artists that are working in collaboration with each other.
I got to say, I like the Crisis in the Half Shell.
Yeah, dude, it's like I said, and the most important thing about this though is it was fun.
Hmm.
It was just a fun, like I'm a super hardcore Batman fan. I don't like it when they screw around with Batman. I didn't mind this. I didn't mind this at all. This was actually fun, but just the artwork. Again, I'm an art guy, so the art's always the first thing that I'm going to gravitate towards. I think the art in this is gorgeous, man. I think
Yeah.
the art in this is just amazing. And then this is actually, I have to do one of this when it's done. Batman Last Night on Earth. That was a good one. But and here's the thing, like I said, I've never been the biggest Turtle fans. I think they look awesome in this. It's just they do.
That's another thing. This the style of the guy here that did the crossover. I mean, you really look at this, and it is there's so much stuff in it, but it's not too busy.
Yep.
So I mean that's
Yeah, and
I
it's
mean you
just
can pull that off. It's
yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, he's really good, man. He is really, really good. So they know. Do they know? Oh, they know. They figure out that the worlds have been merged. It takes like I think it takes like another another issue or two. They know that something weird's going on. He explains it to them, but they're like at first they don't believe him. But I'm actually responding to E Ortiz here.
Yeah.
It is not. Yeah, dropped it. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Check out E Ortiz, man. Guy, anybody that I keep acting like there's a bunch of people watching. There's only like two. Anybody that watches this later, check out E Ortiz's channel. Guy's awesome. He's been a big supporter, and I really appreciate him. But yeah, dude, it is awesome artwork, and it's little things like this in the background. Like you see, Batman's got the big penny in his cat cave. Right here, it's a yen. You know,
Hmm.
it's like a giant yen. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you exactly what the denomination is, but it's a giant yen
Coin.
coin. So I just think it's cool. And then there's like the Ninja Turtle truck, but it's Batmanized.
Yeah.
It's just these little things. And then the Triceratops obviously is a reference to the T-Rex that Batman has in his case, but it's a Triceratops here because of the Ninja Turtles. So it's just these little nods where they piece this stuff together, and it just they meld it together really, really well. So in the end, the story was actually pretty cool. And again, it's you can't take it very seriously. It's not meant to be taken super seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I highly recommend it. And just in case people think I stole this, because I did kind of download this. Where did it go? Yeah, hang on a second. Entertain everybody, Tom.
God, I'm on the spot. Okay. Well, while he's doing that, I
I'm
have
back.
another
Okay, never
thing.
mind. I'm back.
Okay, never mind.
All
I'll
right.
have to wait then.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, I didn't steal anything. Here they are. I've got all 6 of them. So there you go. I
Rob's
didn't.
Rob's doing his unboxing thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't steal them. I didn't. I didn't download it and steal it. I did. Well, I did download it, but I bought it, so it's okay. It's alright. So I want people to say, "Oh my God, you're a bootlegger." No, no, no. But yeah, man, if you're into this kind of thing, and even if you're just an artist, I pick up books a lot of times just for the art. And this is one of the ones that initially that's what I picked it up for because the art was awesome, but the storyline that actually ended up being pretty cool. So, and this is actually the second crossover with Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which the first one I haven't gotten yet. I'm actually looking into it, but the artwork and that's oh my god, dude, the way he draws Bane because like, obviously he likes doing the big guys.
Yeah.
The way he draws Bane, I'm like, yeah, I'm there. That's awesome, man. But yeah, so this was really cool. All right, let me go back to the cover here. I don't want to. God, that city is just that skyline is just so good. It's so good. Oh man,
Mhm.
the way the bridge silhouettes it. Yeah. Anyway, all
Yeah.
right, all right. So the next thing I want to talk about. Okay, let me get this up here because it's being problematic. Why are you doing that? There it is.
What's going on? Okay.
It's just being a pain. It was working perfectly fine, and now it's crap. All right, so Rains of Ganymede. Did I get it right?
Yep. Yeah, you're doing better.
Okay. All right. Rains of Ganymede. Again,
Oh.
this is from C. Thomas Anderson. He asked me to take a look at it. I said yes because it looked freaking cool. Um, this is actually really. I was actually very pleasantly surprised by this because again, like I said, I'm an art guy, and one of the first things I look at is like, okay, is the art good? And I can honestly say, yes, the art in this is actually very, very nice. Um, it's got a very manga style to it, obviously,
Yep.
but and the guy that it reminded me of, as far as the art is concerned, um, I'm trying to remember his name. I see, who's it? I can't remember his name now, but I'm gonna pull up a piece that he did to show you the style that it reminds me of because I have a bunch of this guy's stuff saved in my Pinterest. And but it had a very it's got a realistic it's got a very realistic and highly um detailed edge to it. It's one of the which is one of the reasons why I like it so much. There we go. And okay. Sun Ken Rock. That's his name. I'll pull up an image for you here.
So that was Sun, like literally Sun Can Rock, or is it?
Sun Dash Ken Rock.
Okay, Ken Rock. Okay.
Okay. So, real quick here. Okay. All right, and where's the main browser at? There you go. This is the guy. This is when I first saw this. This is the style that I kind of got an impression of. So if we go back to this, you can see in some of the images later that you'll see that it's got kind of that finishing style to it, and I really like
Hmm.
it. Um, the storyline, as I understand, is basically the main character. They're living in it's kind of like a dystopian future kind of thing,
Hmm.
and they're basically trapped. It's they're kind of like they're almost like prisoners, but they're not really prisoners. It's hard to explain. My review is going to be a lot more in. I'll go a lot more in depth than that. But just looking at the one of the hardest things to do as an artist is backgrounds. These are really good.
Hmm.
These are really well done. And the basic gist of the idea that I believe, from what I understand, it is that these people are kind of it's kind of like almost like a prison planet kind of thing, and they're living in like these scummy undergrounds, and through a chance of basically a chance of fate, the main character here finds a way out, and the story is basically her starting to leave this place and running into the opposition that she finds there. But I really like just like I like the fact that every character has really got a very different look to them. You know, you've got these two characters
Hmm.
here, um, and she's got an attractive look to her. This is an awesome panel. Look at this. God, man, the way he does his face here is fantastic. But the way the way everything kind of flows together, it flows together really well. And again, like I said, it's done in a very manga style.
Yeah, definitely.
But and then I really like, and then like I don't know if they still call it that zipatone. Um,
I have
obviously,
no
I
idea.
don't know. I don't know if this is digital. I'm assuming this is done digitally. But that's one of the things I always liked about manga is the way that they do textures and lighting. They use these patterns and stuff
Hmm.
to create these different levels of depth. But and this is and again as an art guy, I'm looking at some of the stuff and I was like, man, some of this stuff is tedious to do. It's just it takes so much time and discipline. But it looks fantastic, man. It looks great. And from what I've read of the story, like I said, I have to read the story a couple of times to just get a better idea of it.
Hmm.
But I'm really liking the look of these characters. I like the feel of it. I like the tone of it. And there's some stuff that looks like flashbacks or foreshadowing of that's going to happen, like events that happen either in the past or that are going to happen later. But the way that it's set up is it's really cool. And then of course there's the little story here about where she's with her dad. She basically got abandoned by her mom and her dad's been taking care of her, but her dad's sick. Part
Hmm.
of it's because of the environment that they live in. So you get this real sense of it's almost you know what it almost reminds me of. It kind of like reminds me of that movie, like a cross between that movie The Prisoner. That you remember that old show The Prisoner?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a cross between that and what was the name of that movie with Christopher Lambert? Oh, Fortress. That movie Fortress, where they're in like this. Christopher Lambert was in this like inescapable prison, and and basically he was trying to fight. It's him fighting through his way through all these different levels trying to get out. It's kind of like a cross between those two things.
Hmm. Okay. Although the prisoner was a much nicer place, but
Oh yeah, but it was just the idea that it was inescapable.
yeah.
you know. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and you see again here. This is another panel that was like, wow, dude, that took a long time to draw. That took that took some time because drawing debris like this and like I said, drawing environments like
Hmm.
this and drawing debris like this is some tedious stuff. This takes a long time, but when you do it and you do it well like this, it looks
Yeah.
amazing. It's fantastic. And creating a world that's inhabited like this is not a small feat. So I'm really impressed by this. Get a little bit more here. Let me see here. Actually, it'd be better if I like hit the page down thing again. So, and again, like I said, the environments in this really impress me. But then you see that she's going through. She starts running into these obstacles, and then she starts seeing things that she's never seen before. Like, I don't know, what does this mean? And then she starts seeing people that are hunting, that like looking for possibilities of people escaping. So it's these. It's almost like
Hmm.
the world that she thought existed isn't really real. Isn't the real world. That something else is going on here. But then again, and then like when you do have action like this, I love those speed lines because the way that you get motion in there. But she basically gets into a fight with this guy. Um, she's trying to run away. They got these really weird looking guns, and I don't know. It's there's so many things I could compare this to, but I don't want to. I want to do that. And that's actually pretty cool. The dude, she kicks a dude over, and he lands on a bunch of rebar, and just
Yeah.
gets spiked. But yeah, I'll have to when I do the and then she gets this this gun here. But when I do the full review of this, I'll go a lot more in depth into it. Like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't really prepare it. I was just gonna do it. This was just meant to be just a look at it. But yeah, so from what I see so far, I like it.
Yeah. That's
This is a
good.
project. This is the kind of project I would not mind backing on like Indiegogo or Kickstarter. But yeah, guys, check it out, Reigns of Ganymede, and I will put a
Ganymede.
link to to his link to his website, oh, his Twitter and everything. I'll put that into the description once the video gets posted. But yeah, check it out, guys. C. Thomas Anderson. Type it in. Check it out. It looks cool to me. Like I said, I'm gonna probably I have to really do a good review of the story. I have to read it like 2 or 3 times because, like I said, I'm
Yeah.
more of
You
an
miss
art.
out on stuff. You forget things, and
I'm more like I said, I'm more of an art monkey because like
yeah.
I was like, oh look at the pretty pictures.
That's the
So
first time thing I do whenever I go. I flip like all the way through it. And that's why people are like, "Aren't you afraid of spoilers?" I'm like, "But it looks cool.
yeah, it's like
I
but
like it."
it's pretty. I wish I could put these pages side by side, but no, I just like it. I like the way that again the way that the pages are set up. The art is the environments. I'm actually kind of jealous because environments are really tough for me, and I'm looking at this and I'm like man, that would take me a month to do this thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really man, especially I love the faces, man. Like this panel right here. Like I saw this panel, I was like I'm sold. Just that,
Mhm.
just the depth of expression that exists in that face is fantastic, man. It reminds me of what's the name of the guy who runs who's the chief in Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking, but yeah, it's the hair that sticks out like
Yeah,
that.
he's got the yeah. As soon as I saw that hair, I was like, hey, it's him. But yeah, if at some point that this thing when it gets when he finishes it, if he puts it up, I think he talked about. I think he already did put this thing up, but I'm like, if it gets to like where he does like an omnibus thing, I'm definitely down for that. So yeah, Reigns of Ganymede, guys, check it out. I'll do a much better. Yeah, my review will be much better than this. Like I said, I didn't intend to go this much into it. I just meant to show a few pages of it, but yeah, looks cool.
Yeah,
So,
not bad.
so you got anything, Tom?
Nope. I got that stuff. A couple reviews I'm working on, but that'll have to be next week.
All
Uh,
right, that's cool. Well, we're at well over an hour here, so
yeah.
it's about time to wrap it up. But I appreciate everybody being here, guys. Um, uh, that's our show for today. Thank everybody who did show up and everybody that watches it later. It's greatly appreciated. As always, you can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Except when our episode gets ganked.
Yeah, except when YouTube decides to screw us. But if you like what you saw here today, please hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel out. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Like I said, once it's posted up, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. It's what helps us grow. And share the channel out if you would, please. It's all greatly appreciated. So until next week, I'll see you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye.